What's up? It's your favorite lawyer. All right, guys. Well, we were talking about what to do if you're pulled over by an officer on the road. But everyone isn't pulled over. Some people are accosted by officers right, face to face on foot. A lot of the times, you may be in the neighborhood or you're somewhere and an officer walks up and approaches you. First thing you need to look at is, where in the world am I? Am I on private property? Am I on public property? That matters. Because whenever you're on the road, most of the time you're on a public highway. And that's when they first see you. They see you on a public highway. Now, if they catch you on a private highway, like on a private drive, or they come up to you in a private drive, you know that you don't have to discuss anything with the officer. They don't have the right to pull you over in a private drive. They can pull you over to a private drive, right? But they cannot pull you over in a private drive. Like, if you're in a private drive, they can't come and accost you. Like, I was sitting in the parking lot and I saw such and such happen in this parking lot. Unless it's a crime, they can't. There's no reasonable suspicion that arises in the same manner that it does on a public highway, if that makes sense. So, unless someone's calling you, unless the store clerk or someone who owns the property has asked them to intervene, okay? So, when you're on foot, a lot of the times, officers will just walk up to you. They'll just come up to you. So, what are you doing? And they start to search. They're not allowed to do that, okay? I've had cases where officers will walk up to a person, and when they walk up to the person, they say, "Oh, you're acting mighty fishy. Yeah, I feel like based on the way you're acting, I need to detain you." Guys, whenever you have that type of verbiage and an offense report, or an officer is telling you that, you know he has no reason to mess with you. That's it. If they tell you the way that you're acting has caused them to develop probable cause after they walked up to you, it's a bum case. Why is it a bum case? Because they have to have a reason to walk up to you, especially if you're on private property. A lot of people will be at the store hanging out. This is something that happens a lot. And the store has a no trespassing sign in front of it. And because it's a no trespassing sign, the officers want to get out of their cars, go to a private store parking lot, and then start to shake up the people in front of the store. That they're not allowed to do that. Let me tell you why. Number one, because it's private property. It's not public property. They can't just go into private property unless somebody calls them and start accosting people unless they see you doing something. So they can't just walk up to you and say, "Oh, I want to shake you down and see what you got on you." They're not allowed to do that. Okay? They can't just walk up to you on private property in front of the store unless the store clerk has called them. And a lot of the times they'll say, "Well, there's a no trespassing sign." The no trespassing sign doesn't kick in until someone calls you, sir, and tells you that there are trespassers. Then you can come on and say, "There's a sign right here, and they asked you to leave that you ignored. Let's go. Let me take you to jail for trespassing." That's what the sign is for. The sign does not give the police the right to come onto the property and accost you as to why you're there because there's a no trespassing sign. That no trespassing sign doesn't have teeth unless a call is made or the store clerk requests their assistance. Okay, the property owner has to request assistance. They can't go on private property and be security for private property unless they're asked. That's a violation. Okay, people have a right to be free in their persons, to be free and not to be accosted. Now, if you're on a public highway or if you're in a public park or something, that's different. And they feel that you're not doing something you're supposed to be doing, that's different because you're in public, but not private. Even if they can see you from a public street, they'd have to see you from a public street, see you do something, and then come onto the private property to get you from off of the public property. They don't have a right to come and pull in the store parking lot and run up on you. And that's what happens a lot of the times. And when people do that, guys, you need to start voicing that on the recorders, on the videos, with your phones. Get witnesses that are around, because most of the time they'll rush you, and there are other people as well. They'll try to put cases on you that way. So be secure in your person, and know that if, I'm not trying to tell you, how to sell drugs or do stuff you're not supposed to do, but if you're doing something that you're not supposed to do, being on public property doing it makes it a hell of a lot easier for an officer to arrest you. Okay? Being on private property puts a barrier in between. Now they got to have reasonable suspicion, probable cause. There's something to shield. You giving your attorney something to work with at that point. Okay, being on private property. And you also run a risk being on private property that the person that owns the property can call on you at any time and have somebody come accost you on their property because it's their property. But a lot of the times that's not an issue. A lot of the times guys or people know the store clerks, and the store clerks are not calling on them. It's just plain and simple. They're not calling on you. And they haven't called on you. They have a trespassing sign so that if something is a problem and they have to call the police, they don't have to go through issuing out a trespass warning. The warning's there. And it's open and notorious. But a trespass warning never gives an officer the right to come in and accost you and start asking you questions on private property. They do it all the time. And if that happens to you, you need to make sure you hire an attorney to fight your case. And you make sure you fight your case even if you can't hire an attorney. If all you can get your hands on is a court appointee. Because that's, 1 + 1 = 2 law right there. That's baseline suppression, argument. And Supreme Court and the other courts are, they're allowing people, they're upholding people's rights to be free in their persons. They are doing that. But you got to allege that. You've got to file your suppression motion. You got to argue that in court, okay? And you got to use the police report, testimony, etc., to be able to show video and what have you, to be able to show that that is what happened. But it happens. It's very common, especially in the hood, for officers to just run up on you and empty your pockets. And it's illegal, and they're not supposed to do it, and they know they're not supposed to do it. So don't let them do it to you. Whether you feel like you're in the wrong or the right, at the end of the day, if someone wants to catch you, they have to do the right. They have to do the right thing and follow the rules in order to catch you. I always, tell the DAs all the time, assistant district attorneys all the time, that at the end of the day, how can you argue that my client is not following the rules, but the officer isn't following the rules? So it's rules officers have to follow, and it's laws people have to follow. The issue isn't whether or not we believe that my client actually had dope on him. The issue is whether or not you got that dope in the proper manner. Did you follow the proper procedure to get the dope off my client? If you didn't, I don't care what you tested and what it is. It's got to be suppressed. And I'll run that motion all day long. Because that's what the law is designed to do. So know your rights. Know they cannot run up on you. Stay from out of public streets and things like that. Be more on private property. It shields you. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to email me. Okay. Add my Instagram page, she_ya_lawyer. Add my YouTube channel, Legal Cutie. I have some archive videos up there, but I'll be putting more up. And send me an email if you have any questions. All right, guys. Well, you have a fantastic day. Know your rights, though. Know them. Know them.